Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another PUBG video. As some of you requested, this is a full HandCam recoil control guide in which we are going to go over how to control both vertical and horizontal recoil with a focus on how to physically place and move your thumb on the right stick. Even if you're experienced at PUBG, this video will still give you a different perspective on recoil control and possibly ways to improve. Anyway, I hope you guys find this video helpful, and if you do, please leave a like to help this channel grow, and enjoy the video. Alright, let's first start with a quick introduction. Let's assume I have my AR, and I want to shoot at a wall, right, without trying to compensate for any recoil, so without touching the R3 right stick. So you can see, I mean, I'm crouching now, but if even if I'm crouching, you can see that my gun is pulling up aggressively, and there are zigzags, right? So the aggressive pull up is the vertical recoil, and the zigzags are basically the gun's horizontal recoil, right? So I want to differentiate between two things: the gun's horizontal recoil and the noise that you create as a horizontal recoil. While trying to control the vertical recoil. So keep that in mind for later on in the video. Now we're gonna try to control both horizontal and vertical recoil, and I'm gonna try to show you how for the best of my ability. Let's start with the vertical recoil. Keep an eye on the hand cam. So there's a common mistake that I see a lot of people do is the timing of the recoil control. So to control the vertical recoil, all you have to do is pull your right stick down as you're firing the weapon, because your weapon is going to pull up. So naturally, you want to compensate for the pull up by pulling your right stick down, right? Now, what matters most here is the timing of the pull down. If you don't time it very well, it will look something like this. Your gun is going to start pulling up, and then you try to pull down. So you see, I was able to control the recoil very well here, but it's already too late, right? Because my gun has started jumping up or pulling up while I wasn't compensating for the vertical recoil very much, right? So the timing of the recoil, you should start controlling the recoil right when you start firing, like at the same time. You can press them both at the same time, and it will look something like this, right? So you can see here that with that great timing, or with good timing, I was able to land 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots. 7 shots with the AUG is enough to get the kill, to secure the kill, and then I started messing around after that. I mean, it's still not that bad, but you can see that my gun is starting to shift a little bit to the left due to the horizontal recoil. We're going to talk about that later. Now, what if you missed the first 7 shots for some reason? You start controlling the recoil not at the right time, something like this. See, starting, you missed your initial shots, and then you want to recover, basically. So you missed the first 3 shots, and then you're trying to recover. This is not the ideal situation, but it can happen, right? So you need to recover. How do you recover, or how do you spray your gun, the full mag, with a good recoil control? I'm going to break it down into 3 steps. The first one is the timing, which we already talked about. The second step is basically how hard your initial pull should be. It will vary from one gun to the other, depending on how aggressive the recoil control of each gun is. How aggressive the vertical recoil of each gun is. So the AUG will be a little different than the barrel. But initially, what you don't want, for example, to pull your right stick all the way down, because you would be overcompensating for the vertical recoil. See, it will look something like this. You don't want that. What you want is to find a good pull down, keep your gun balanced. See, that's a good pull down. To keep your gun balanced for the first 5, 6 shots, that would be enough. This is how you practice it. 5 shots. This is not very good, so my pull down wasn't great. My pull down was too hard. My pull down was perfect. So this is how you practice the first 2 steps. The first is the timing. Second one is how hard you need to pull down. You need your first 5, 6, 7 shots, whatever, to be exactly like this one, not like this. Now, after you master the first two steps, here comes the third step, which is the most important, I would say, if you want to spray the full mag. You want to find a balance, right? So you want to keep this going as opposed to this. You want to keep this going. So what you want to do in this case is time it very well, and then the initial pull down should be perfect to land the first 5 shots. And then after that, you want to keep that initial pull down at a position where you think is best for your gun. So you're not gonna pull all the way down. You're gonna find a position. Let's say, look at the camera. I'm gonna try to find it. Try to show you maybe. So you're gonna find a position where your right stick is at a balance with how hard the gun is pulling up. So you're gonna shoot, keep it at balance. See, I'm not pulling all the way down. I'm just keeping it at a balance. And this is what you're gonna end up with. With a full mag, I was able to land most of my shots accurately. So this balance is, I would say, the hardest part of the vertical recoil control. All right, I'm gonna try to show it without shooting the gun, and look at the camera and focus on our R3. You need to understand how controllers work to understand recoil control, right? Let's say this is the resting position of R3. Now, if you pull it down slowly, it's gonna go down. It's gonna pull, like your aim is gonna pull down slowly. It's like at the same rate, depending on your sensitivity, of course. But if you pull it all the way down, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be fast, right? There you go. So essentially, what you're trying to do in the recoil control is to find a speed, pull down speed that is equal to the gun's pull up speed. That's all that you need to understand. Now, once you find that speed, you're gonna hold it, because if you keep going down, the pull down is gonna be faster. So you're gonna find the speed. That's the speed. So this is the speed that I want, and then hold it. Stop pulling down. You see, it's gonna keep going down. It's gonna keep going down. And if that's the rate at which your gun is pulling up, then you're gonna reach a balance. So essentially, you're gonna pull this down and hold it. Pull and hold. This is when you figure out the speed at which your gun is pulling up, and this is how you reach the balance. Now let's say your target is moving. So all what we have just explained is how to recoil control or to shoot a standing still target. Now what if your target is moving? You're gonna apply the same thing to control the vertical recoil, but now you're gonna have to add a shift to the right or to the left in your recoil control. What I mean is that you're going to apply the first step, you're going to apply the second step, you're going to apply the third step. Once you reach that, so here, first step, I'm going to control the recoil. I'm going to start moving a little bit to the right. See, to try to track a target that is moving to the right. Now, this is not horizontal recoil. This is me doing it on purpose to try to track. So control the recoil and then keep it moving. So that's kind of a step 4, right? Again, to summarize, you're gonna start or time it very well. Start the recoil control as soon as you start firing. The initial pull should be good to match the gun pulling up, and then the balance. Once you hold it, you're gonna start move it to left or right to track your targets. Now, the problem with this is that look at the zigzags. This is horizontal recoil, and this is a mix of gun's horizontal recoil and me pulling to the right while doing a zigzag. That is the hardest part of controlling the recoil in PUBG. Oftentimes when we talk about horizontal recoil, we're talking about a shift to the right or left, but this is really only when we're trying to shoot a target that is standing still, because this is a target that is standing still, maybe that door, and then this is your horizontal recoil would look like. But when your target is moving to the right or to the left, you're already applying pressure to your right stick to in one direction. So horizontal recoil will not gonna pull you back, right? If you're moving to the right, horizontal recoil will not gonna pull you back. So you essentially what you're dealing with is basically the horizontal recoil and the vertical recoil. the zigzags up and down, up and down. So this is what you need to focus on. For that, you need to be able to apply minimal pressure on your R3 um, while after finding the balance. So you time your recoil control very well. Your initial pull is perfect. You found the balance. Now you're gonna try to move it to the right, right? When you move it to the right, you don't want to move it to the right up or to the right down. You need to move it to the right, specifically to the right. And how do you do that? Look at, I don't want you to focus on settings or sensitivities just yet, or any grips in the game, like no vertical, horizontal grip. Just focus on your thumb only. If you're gripping, or if your thumb is resting, like the tip of your thumb is resting on R3, you don't have full control. I mean, some people might, but I don't, certainly don't. You don't have full control of R3. You're gonna, essentially what you want is you want a full control on R3. So you want to grip it in a way where you can have full control. This is how I grip, like this is how I hold it. This is how I hold R3. I'm trying to show you on the camera. Like that, not like that, like that. That way it will allow me to add as much pressure as I need to control the recoil. So if I do this, control it, and then I want to move to the right, I can start moving to the right with a minimal pressure. Consider that. Maybe it will help. It might take some time to get used to it, but this is how I managed to full spray. If I want to do it with the tip of my thumb, this is how it will look like. I mean, it's still pretty good, but then as soon as I tried, you see the little zigzags? Because one and then goes down and then goes back up. It's not too bad, but I'm not able to track this distance. I'm only able to track this distance. If I want to track this full distance with the tip of my thumb, this is how I already lost it. Now moving on to the last part of this video, I want to show you a little bit of scope spraying and maybe a couple tips. One major issue with scope spraying is when like trying to scope spray a target that is standing still, like not even moving target. Target that is standing still, let's say you're able, let me pull down the 4x. Let's say your timing is perfect, right? Your initial pull down is great, and then you able to hold the balance very well. But then after holding the balance, your gun starts going right, left, or left, right, whatever. It starts swinging. I call it a swing. So it's like a swinging. Essentially, what you're trying to do here is that you're trying to hold, and as you hold, maybe your finger is just shaky a little bit. One, right, left, right, left. So two things that you need to look at. First, try to hold your finger. But if that doesn't work, some people can't manage to do that very well. It's like a small tip that can be useful here is to look at your sensitivity. If you're playing on high sense, it means that your initial pull should not be very significant. Which means you're still in the dead zone area of your controller. Try to increase your dead zone a tiny bit, and that way your swing, like that, will be in the dead zone area, and then your controller will not pick it up, right? So let me try to show you what I'm talking about. I try to start. That's not a good spray. Let's do better. So I'm holding it, and then it starts spraying right, left, right, left. Yeah, so I did this on purpose because I wanted to showcase that. This is my initial spray. I went to the left on purpose. Now, I play on high sense. If I wanted to get rid of that, let's say my finger, I couldn't control my finger well enough and it went there. And since I play on high sense, I'm still in a dead zone area. So I increase my dead zone and then my controller will not pick this part up. That's just a little tip that you can play with. I'm on 20 cents for my 4X. So when I control the recoil, I'm still in the dead zone area. So I can play a little bit with my dead zone if I have this problem. Currently, I don't have the problem for now. So I just play on 0 dead zone. But it's a very, very important tip that really, really helps. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I will see you all in the next one.